Hi there Gemini, thank you for joining me for your year 2016 forecast. At the very start of this year, Saturn, which is in the part of your horoscope to do with relationships for the next 2 years, is going to be forging a brilliant angle to the Sun. Now Saturn has a much maligned reputation, and it certainly can teach you some lessons around what you need around your closest involvements, but also what other people expect of you during this next 24 months. But this angle with the Sun suggests that you dig beneath the surface, that you are more psychological in your understanding of all kinds of relationships, and this is going to give you an awesome opportunity to make real progress, to have more fulfilling involvements, to achieve more satisfying partnerships of all kinds. But of course Saturn is never a walk in the park. And from late May through till October, he is going to be squaring up to Neptune, the planet of dreams. Neptune's in a part of your horoscope that's very much to do with work and business and the way you fit into the wider world. So relationships of those kinds can be much more trying and during that period of time. So you're going to need to prepare yourself for this. But as you spill into the new year, the wonderful news is that Venus, the planet of love and affection, is actually in Sagittarius, the same as Saturn. And that's going to give you a backdrop in your solar return of a great deal of diplomacy, or the potential to embrace diplomacy. Use it, because especially when Neptune's tangling with Saturn, if there are misunderstandings, the calmer you can remain, and the more you see things from other people's viewpoints and are not defensive, the greater the progress you're going to make this year. Now the wonderful news I'm going to bring in you is that Uranus and Pluto, which have been in a huge quarrel over the last 3 or 4 years, well, they're in the last phase of their right angle, and that starts at the start of 2016. So January, February and March, and then it's done. It's going to really dissipate. And this for you has been a lot to do with your need to be independent and free against that other side of you that occasionally needs to be really deeply committed. But then that can become really quite limiting, throttling, and so therefore you break away, but then you're breaking away from something that gives you security. That's been the pattern off and on for these last 3 or 4 years. Really awkward stuff, and it's tested all people, all of us, not just your sign, but it is going to be coming to an end at the end of March. How exciting! Of course, Jupiter, the planet of fortune, well, that's going to be figuring in the part of your horoscope that's to do with home and family right through to early September. It's then going to be moving from then into the most joyous, friendly and romantic sector. So you can look forward to 4 and nearly 5 months of really upbeat stuff when it comes to being self-expressive, playful, and maybe enjoying a real stroke of fortune when it comes to your love life. Now the big driver in the heavens in terms of our ego needs is of course Mars. Now Mars is going to be taking a journey, an extended journey through your sector of relating from early March, and it's going to really be there off and on because it's going to have a 2-month sabbatical, but it's going to emerge at the end of September. So that 5 months is going to give you an awful lot of determination to improve your relationships. Or it can see you more assertive about the relationships that aren't going very well. Fantastic stuff. But just be aware that it is winding backwards at times, and maybe there are going to be moments when you could take things a bit too personally. The middle of August is certainly a time when Mars and Saturn are going to be merging together. Watch that. That could be a break point for a relationship that's not working very well. Mars then moves briefly back into your sector of health and work. And across June and July, you could find yourself being much more determined to get fitter and stronger, perhaps going on some kind of diet plan. Good for you if so. The problem is, Gemini, is that Neptune and Saturn, that square that starts at the end of May and goes through to October, can also have a debilitating effect on your energy generally. And if you do work in an environment where you're customer facing or you have to be competitive, your own motivation could be drained a little bit at times, and the best way to deal with this is through focus. Focus will help you. And in terms of ambition, the solar eclipse, which occurs on the 9th of March, is wonderful because it really is going to fight off the more enervating energies of Neptune and see you much more strutting your stuff in the following 6 months, particularly if you can show just how creative you are, because the lunar eclipse on the 23rd is in the sign of Libra, perfect for you to demonstrate just how talented you are. September is a key month, however, not just because Jupiter moves into the most joyful part of your scope. On the 1st, there is a solar eclipse in Virgo. So again, it's home stuff. You may want to move, improve, or add to your family in the last part of the year, last quarter of the year. But then, obviously, Jupiter then arrives in Libra. This is really champagne moment for you, something to truly celebrate. It hasn't happened for 12 years. Make the most of it. However, on the 16th, there is another lunar eclipse. And this lunar eclipse is asking you to just be conscious of how people view your motivations and your actions. It occurs back in Pisces again. The last part of the year sees Mars explode out of Sagittarius and makes its way into Capricorn in October, and then it's going to be going side by side with Pluto. There could be a big breakthrough financially around a property matter, business wise, or a big bust up that month. And remember the advice that Venus has given you at the start of this year about trying to keep the lines of communication open, however much you're trying to go forwards and be progressive. Now, in November and December, great time for a holiday, and you may find yourself really wanting to get away from it all. But as the year comes to a close, Mars is going to be combining in not a particularly positive way with Neptune. And I do feel that you need to think very carefully about your business interests and the people that you're generally involved with as the curtain comes down on 2016. But it's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.